Hey friends, it's Heather with Staying Scrappy, and I've got another process video for you today. And get ready to fasten your seatbelts because this layout goes on a journey. I tried so many different things, and for some reason, this layout was just a struggle for me from start to finish. I tried lots of different things, none of it really worked out, and in the end, I like it well enough. I can't say it's one of my favorite videos, but it's okay. So I start off with this stencil from Vicki Boutin, and I don't have modeling paste, so I'm just using some white gesso to scrape through my stencil with my palette knife and create this nice wave texture. So if you don't have modeling paste, don't freak out. There's other things you can use instead, like the gesso. And yeah, I think it works as a great substitute if you don't have modeling paste. And I'm going to peel off the stencil here in a minute for the reveal. And I used a heat tool to dry out the gesso before doing the next piece of the stencil. So there is all finished, and next I'm going to come in with some mixed media. I start out using the packaging technique, but I end up just coming in with my brush and spreading the color around. I'm using a variety of some Lindy's Magical Powders. Don't remember the colors off the top of my head, but I can put them in the description. I'm also using some Prima watercolor palettes and just some Arteza basic watercolor tubes. So I love mixing and matching all these colors to get just the shades that I want. And I'm trying to use a variety of blues because I love, in my photo, which you'll see in a minute here, there's so many different shades of blue and I love it. So I'm trying to recreate that with this mixed media by creating lots of layers and lots of different shades of blue. And oh, there was my picture. It just came in. It's a picture of the ocean and the sky, and so there's just nothing but blue, and it's so pretty. And I'm almost done with the mixed media here. We're going to skip ahead in a sec to see the finished product. Just adding a little bit more shades of blue to the sides and to the top. And there's my finished mixed media. It's all dry, and I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not entirely certain how I feel about it, but I like it well enough. I'm a little annoyed that some of the blues don't match the photo exactly, but it is what it is. So then I get the wild idea to do some stitching. I really wanted to emphasize some of those wave shapes, and this idea ends up not working out at all. So I take the time to punch all these holes, and I pick out my thread colors, and I end up not even keeping the stitching. So that ended up being kind of a waste of time, but oh well. And here I'm just cutting out the waves because I really want it to have a wave shape at the top instead of being a straight line. So I'm cutting off some of the extra, following the wave shapes and just trimming off the top. And I don't mind fussy cutting. I do quite a bit of it depending on the layout. And I think it's quite relaxing. So it was a little hard to cut through all the gesso and all the mixed media that was on this paper, but it wasn't too bad. So after this, I am going to come in with a little bit of thread, but I end up not even filming that part. I hated how it looked so much that I just sort of unpicked it in a rage and forgot to film what it looked like. So that is a mystery that will be hidden from you forever, but you're not missing out, I promise. It really ends up not looking good, so don't feel bad that you didn't see that part. And I'm just trimming off a little bit of the extra that I didn't like here. Almost done. And I love how that wave looks at the top, but not enough to use it. So instead I come in with some solid blues, and I'm drawing on some wave shapes, and my plan is to fussy cut out a few different layers of these wave shapes out of the solid cardstock. And I think these colors match the colors in my photo a little bit better. But I ended up not liking the wave shapes that I drew, so then I decided to just rip and tear it. So here I am just ripping that paper to pieces, and I'm hoping that this will still look like waves with them. Originally I tried ripping it in kind of a wave shape, but I gave up on that and just sort of tore a straight line. And so I've got a light blue, a medium blue, and then I've got that medium blue that's actually a double-sided cardstock. It's a different color on each side, and I end up using both sides because one is slightly darker than the other. And in my photo, I really love that really dark navy, almost black color at the very bottom of the ocean. And I wanted to replicate that in my paper, so that's why I use the darker cardstock as well. So I'm ruffling up the edges with my scissors, and I'm using the blunt edge of my scissors because I feel like that gives me even more texture. So my plan is to layer up these it'll end up being 4 colors with the double-sided cardstock. And I'm ripping it so that the white edge doesn't show. And I messed it up a couple times and I had to re-tear it because I accidentally tore it wrong and the white was showing and I didn't like it. So it took some trial and error to figure this out. And I'm going to repeat the colors from light to medium to dark. And I kind of stick with this idea for a while, but I end up changing my mind a little bit temporarily, and then I come back to this original idea, which is just doing these strips one at a time. And I'm using my paper trimmer to get a straight edge and then tearing it again. And then I decide I'm not sure if I like that. I am going to come back to it, but temporarily I changed my mind. Again, seeing a theme here? Yeah, I changed my mind a lot on this layout. But I wanted to try going for an ombre effect, because again, I'm drawing a lot of inspiration from my photo, and I love how it fades from the lighter pinks or the lighter blues to the darker blues. So I'm trying to replicate that. I'm bringing in a few more papers, so I wasn't sure those 3 solid colors would be enough. But I ended up not liking the extra papers. Again, seeing a theme here, I tried a lot of things that I ended up not liking. So I'm going to take out those extra papers and stick with just these 3 pieces of plain cardstock. And looking back at it now, I think the ombre actually looks pretty decent, and I'm kind of wishing I had stuck with this idea, but I don't know. I'm kind of meh about this layout in general, so I guess it's easy to think that, oh, maybe I should have done this other idea that I thought about, or maybe I should have done this other idea that I thought about, and but oh well, I guess that's just part of the creative process, is trying things out, not liking it, trying something else. And some days that's just how the muses work. They're gone completely and you have to just try a million different things. So here is the final shot of the ombre that I promised. And looking back, like I said, it's fine. I kind of wish I had stuck with that, but oh well, we're going to change our minds again. And we're going to go back to my original idea, which is alternating these 3 colors instead of having them all together. And I do end up putting my photo at the top of the strips instead of tucking them underneath, like I did there. So here we are going back to the original plan and putting all those strips back in order. And I'm trying to make it so that sometimes they overlap, some pieces are only partial. Like there, I just ripped off that piece because a lot of it wasn't going to show anyway. And I feel like torn paper strips are just such a classic way to go with scrapbooking. I've done this with patterned papers before as well, and it's always just such a fun time. If you're interested in seeing another torn paper layout that I've made, let me know in the comments, and I will make a blog post about it. So I'm almost done with my paper strips here, and then I'm going to start working on my title, which also changes several times. But that's okay. Hopefully I'm not driving you crazy yet with changing my mind so much. So I used my Cricut to cut out the word blue skies. This is the next day, and I've glued down all the papers, I've ruffled up all the edges to really make them chunky, and now that I'm looking at it, I actually do like it better than the ombre, so go me, I think I did make the right choice there. So I'm peeling the blue skies off my Cricut mat, and I'm going to pull out some little planner stickers. I have a few alphabet stickers that are in planner books, and it's going to say nothing but blue skies. And I like it well enough. I don't know. It's fine. But just looking at this picture, I kept thinking of the song Mr. Blue Sky, and I couldn't get it out of my head, and so I am going to end up changing the title to Hey Hey Mr. Blue Sky, which is maybe kind of obscure, but I kind of like doing song lyrics for titles. I've done it before, and I just think it's kind of a fun way to get across the feeling that I have when I look at some of these photos. Do you ever do that? Do you ever look at a photo and think of a song? Like, maybe I'm just a really song-oriented person. I don't know. But, oh well, whatever. And pretty soon here, I'm going to come into some planner stickers. There they are. I was gone for so long, so I was getting my planner stickers out. And I found some transparent blue stickers that I really like. This is one of my favorite parts of this layout. So I took these blue clear stickers, and it's great because you can still see the letters because I'm putting them on a lighter blue than the blue that's printed on the stickers, so you can still see them. And I'm also going to come in with some planner stickers that are white with blue words on them. And this is a Park Lane sticker book, which I'm pretty sure is the Joanne brand. But I love using planner stickers for layouts because they're so small, they fit in great into those tiny little places where you're not sure you can fit a big embellishment. So I use those a lot. I have a lot of packs of sticker books because I used to do a lot of plannering. And I've kind of given up on the planner, but I still have a use for all of these sticker books that I've collected over the years. I love how this ends up turning out. So I'm just flicking through this book. I end up picking off a sticker that says January because that's when this picture was taken. I'm going to tuck it in at the bottom on one of the lightest blue strips. And the white stickers I put on that lightest blue because I don't want the white background to contrast too much with the darker blue. So see, I experiment with putting it at the bottom there, but I am going to end up moving it up to that lightest blue color of paper, just so it's less of a contrast. I can't recommend these planner stickers enough. Like, if you ever get a chance to pick up these massive sticker books, just do it. I have one that is just colorful boxes, and they're so great for journaling spots, for writing the date, or like I said, there's alphabet stickers, like in this one, I think there's at least 5 different alphabets. So get yourself some planner stickers for layouts. Very handy. So at this point, I wasn't loving the top part. I like my torn strips of paper, but I still don't like the white part. And so I have another idea to print off a huge picture, and I'm thinking about trimming off the edges of my torn paper strips so that it's as wide as the photo, because I only have an 8.5 by 11 printer. And ideally, I would love to have the paper just go, the picture, going just from edge to edge, but that's not practical for the printer that I have. So I printed off my title again, this time in white, and my idea is to put it just right across the horizon line of my picture. And I think the white is going to contrast really well with the blue ocean. It's going to bring out the white in the clouds. But I have no idea what to do with all the extra white space. Do I put the torn paper strips on the bottom, but that covers up too much of the picture? I can't really put them on top because it looks like waves, not like sky. So I end up rejecting the large picture idea too. Oh, I even bring back my mixed media. I forgot about this. So I bring that back, but I don't really love how that looks either. So we're going back to, again, the torn paper strips. I've changed my title to Hey Hey Mr. Blue Sky, and I've added some pearls to look like bubbles. And I still don't love the top white part, even at the end of the page, but I get it to the point where it's good enough. And I feel like with creativity and with projects and art and things like that, sometimes good enough is just good enough. I'm a big believer that you're never going to love every page equally, and that's certainly the case for me. I feel like there's definitely pages I've made that I like better than others, and that's okay. That's just part of making a page, and sometimes finished is better than perfect, and that was definitely the case with this page. So I'm coming in with some splatters to kind of make the white space on top a little less stark, and then I'll come back in with all my titles, and there's the final page. I love how the bottom torn strips turned out, but that's about it. So maybe I'll take that idea and use it on another page. But thanks for sticking with me through this long video, and stay scrappy!